Okay. Okay, how's everyone doing? Okay. What's this here? The final part of Yakuza 0 will be up tomorrow. I was recording it today, guys, but I was struggling with fighting Kiryu's final boss, but I finally figured out a way to beat him. So final part of Yakuza 0 will be tomorrow night. Also, I'm sorry about the Black Ops Vorkuta mission for like having some lag in it. I didn't realize about the lag until I uploaded it. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. I hope it wasn't too annoying. If anyone needs help selling anything, just send me an invite and I'll help you out. My birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday, Morn, full Sapphire. Well, I always do a stream every Sunday, and I didn't have time to start up a stream earlier. I was just busy with so many things, but I always do a stream every Sunday. Um, okay, send me an invite. Whoever needs help with anything, just send me an invite, and I'll help you out. Does anyone need help selling anything? Yeah, but I'll beat the boss. Did anyone see my Vorkuta video that I uploaded yesterday? The video on Black Ops, the Vorkuta escape. Anyone see it? Was the lag in the video like really annoying? I'm really sorry about that. I didn't know about that until after I uploaded it. Was it watchable though? Like the video, was the gameplay at least like watchable? I haven't played Death Stranding, no. No one needs help with anything? So like the lag was a little annoying, but it was still watchable, right? It wasn't like the footage wasn't like completely broken, right? Uh Okay, you can invite me, Brandon, I'll help you. Hey Rashawn, how are you? It's watchable, yeah, okay. It was watchable. Okay, that's what matters to me the most, that at least the video was watchable. I'm sorry about that. I will make sure the next part of Black Ops has no lag. I'm really sorry about that. But when I get to the Vietnam missions, oh man, there is going to be so much historical commentary in the Vietnam missions. A lot. Did I know that Hue was the imperial capital under the... How do I pronounce that? Dynasty, Gunner? The last dynasty of Vietnam, make sure to include that fact. Okay, I will. How do I pronounce that family's name? Gunner? Love that you're a history fanatic like me. Thank you. I don't know much about Vietnam's monarchy. The only thing I don't really know much about that, but I do know about the French colonialism. The French colonialism, I know about that. And the Viet Minh, which the Viet Minh later became the North Vietnamese. Nguyen, like that. Nguyen, okay. Hey, Jack. A cool fact about the escape plan Reznov comes up with is that it's also used for the Easter egg in Black Ops 2 Zombies origin map. Oh, I didn't know that. Why are you so bad? What do you mean, dude? Thank you, Jonathan, for being a channel member of mine for a year and a half. Thank you, dude. How did they teach about the royal family in Vietnam today, Gunner? Are they like vilified? Okay, I might as well sell this stuff. I've had this for some time here. Get rid of this. This nightclub is completely full.
Hey, so we're freeing up some warehouse space.
Oh wow. Okay, this is a pretty annoying drive. Yeah, I'll do Fallout New Vegas. I just don't know when. Hey, Pro, a long time since I caught you live. Hey, Samtex? Thank you for the super chat, dude. Sorry I missed the Friday stream. You don't have to apologize, dude. Come by whenever you want. Yeah, I'm okay, Christine. I always do a stream every Sunday, and so I promised to do a stream every Sunday, and I didn't want to break that promise. I was just really busy with a lot of stuff. Well, Ultramatics. I've just been, I, I had my nightclub already full, so I couldn't really do the mule, so that was it pretty much there. Yes, yes, and, just so you know, Hustler, we will do that Kane and Lynch 2 multiplayer Xbox video. We will do that in May. So in May, we will do that. May will be like a year since we did it on the PS3 video, so we'll do the Xbox version in May. It'll be a Kane and Lynch 2 multiplayer video, so if anybody wants to play Kane and Lynch 2 multiplayer with me, the Fragile Alliance mode, you can join me in like May. I'll post like I'll make a post when I'm gonna be playing so that people can join in with me. Was the Gulag outfit hard to get for Black Ops video? Well, no, the Gulag outfit was the same jacket that I wore for the Soviet cosplay for my World at War playthrough. It's actually the same jacket type that Mason is wearing. Yeah, Colonialism 2 had some really fun multiplayer, it did. It was really enjoyable. My favorite streamer, thank you, dude. Far Cry 2 was a great game, yeah. Hi, Patrick. Your Call of Duty Black Ops 1 videos are very well made. Love the history explanation of Vorkuta gulags. I felt sympathy for the people who suffered. Thank you, Healer. Thank you. And the thing is, though, is that we don't know exactly how many people died in the gulags. Like, some people say that it's 1 million, other people say it's 2 million. I think the number is, like, closer to 5 million. Stalin's one of the most evil men in history. Oh, I played a lot of the old Assassin's Creed games. Great, getting up there is going to be a bit annoying. I will do that probably in May, Robert, because we'll be doing Days Gone in April. Who Hamzat? I think this is the first time I've seen you sell something of yours in ages. Yeah, people weren't really inviting me to a sale, so I just decided to sell my own thing. I've had this nightclub sitting for so long. Like, I haven't done my sales in so long because I have so much money. But I might as well just get rid of this. Do you have a favorite playable character in Far Cry 2? In Far Cry 2, in Far Cry 2, I played as a lot of the different characters. I played as the, who did I play as? I think, Warren, the American guy. I played as him the most. I played as the Irish guy a bit too. Uh, I played as the, I played as the Hungarian guy. And the Algerian guy. Most evil communist leader in your opinion? Um, the three most evil communist leaders are Stalin, Mao, and Pol Pot. They're the worst ones. Uh, the thing about the thing about Mao Zedong and Stalin is it's really difficult to say who's more evil, Stalin or Mao. And the reason it's pretty difficult is because Mao technically killed more people, but Stalin murdered more people, if that makes sense. And if anybody's a little confused, I'll explain what I mean. Is Mao Zedong murdered a lot of people, but most of Mao Zedong's deaths are as a result of famine, where most of Stalin's deaths are as a result of murders. So that's basically it, is that there was much more starvation under Mao Zedong than Stalin, but Stalin was responsible for more murders than Mao. So it's honestly speaking, I think that Mao and Stalin are just as evil as each other. So I don't know really, which one you could say is the worst one. They're both really horrible people. Do you think Kim Jong-un is evil? Oh, of course. I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you guys a story on how evil Stalin is. Stalin's doctor had actually checked him, did a checkup on him, and told him that he's relatively healthy. But he needs to stop working so much because he's too stressed. He needs to take more time off. And Stalin saw that as a personal insult and sent that doctor to a work camp where he died. There was another instance where Stalin. This one is pretty disturbing. Stalin had killed millions of people in Ukraine during the Holodomor. Millions of people starved to death. So millions died in that famine. And what happened was, a year later, the Soviet government covered up the famine. So the deaths that were involved in it, the Soviet government covered it up. So a lot of people didn't know about the full extent of it. And what happened was, a year later, the census people from the government, the Soviet government workers who were doing the census, they were basically checking the population of Ukraine. those government workers, they basically went to Stalin and they told Stalin that there was an error, that there was something wrong with the records, because we had millions more people living here the year before, and now there's millions less. There's something wrong with these records. And you know how Stalin responded to that? He had the census people killed. That's, so that right there, that is basically showing you the evils of Stalin. Was it Khrushchev who ordered the arrest warrant on Beria? I think he was definitely involved. I don't know if it was Khrushchev yet, because Khrushchev didn't fully solidify his power yet at that point. Was Michael killing Fredo justified? No, I don't think so. And, okay, I guess I'll help convert it here. And how is the monarchy taught today in schools in Vietnam, Gunner? The new Xbox console leaks, I haven't heard anything about that. What do you think of Project MKUltra? Project MKUltra is one of the worst things the CIA did. That was the mind control experiments they did. They kidnapped people, and a lot of people that were experimented on in Project MKUltra, they didn't even know they were experimented on. The story in Manhunt 2 is based on that. Why no Half-Life playthrough? I'll do Half-Life one day, dude. I'll do it one day. What's Project MKUltra, where the CIA kidnapped people and experimented on people with mind-controlled drugs, basically to brainwash people. Okay, Gunner, no, it was a complete failure, Humberto. Can you invite me to the business? Am I in... Invite me to the business, please, Converted. I want to help you sell. Oh yeah, I know it's inspired by the assassin. No, I haven't, Ant-Man. Do you know who executed Beria? A group of soldiers? Good evening, Pro. Happy to catch the stream. Thank you, Jake. Have you ever watched a movie called The Death of Stalin? It's a really good movie. It's about the power struggle after Stalin's death. It also got banned in Russia. Did it get banned in Russia? Really? Well, I know the movie. Yes, I do know the movie, and I do wanna check it out. It's kind of a comedy, but it is based heavily on historical events. Thank you, Kane.
You doing
Did I
this?
know the M16 jammed a lot in Vietnam? Yes, of course. But you want to know why one of the reasons the M16 jammed so much in the Vietnam War? It was because they rushed the rifle out, and Washington was so arrogant when it came to the M16. They didn't issue a lot of the soldiers cleaning kits, and any rifle will jam without cleaning kits. I saw the Cotton Massacre. You're talking about the movie, or are you, or you talk? Well, do you mean you read about the massacre, or did you watch the movie? But you can watch the whole movie on YouTube. It's free. It was yeah, the Cotton Massacre was extremely brutal. That was very very horrible. The Soviets covered that up for 40 something years. But yeah, I'm playing on PlayStation 5 right now, dude. Probably not, Zach. Uh, but I have a lot of really good playthroughs coming up this year. Does Poland have any dark history? Most most of Poland's dark history is done by foreigners. Whenever Poland has gone through a bad page in its history, most of the time it was due to foreigners, foreign occupation, foreign invaders. Uh, why does your video quality look so bad? Wait, is my stream quality really bad right now, guys? Is it? But has Poland had any dark history without invaders? Uh, maybe the closest during the Dark Ages. Okay, I'm happy that the stream is fine. Oh yeah, I would agree with you. GTA 4 is the best story. What is my opinion on Chiang Kai-shek? Great question. You are talking about the nationalist leader of China. Uh, about Chiang Kai-shek, here's the thing about Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek was not a good man, but I wouldn't say he was evil. And that's the difference between him and Mao Zedong. The, uh, the communists in China portray Chiang Kai-shek as this like really evil, like horrible, brutal man, which to a degree, he was very brutal. But the thing is though is that if you compare like Chiang Kai-shek, for example, to Mao Zedong is literally like 100 times worse than Chiang Kai-shek. That's how bad Mao is. Mao is so much more worse than Chiang. So it's was Chiang Kai-shek a good man? No, not really. But he was a far better person than Mao Zedong was. Who can you explain to me who is that, Hamzat? Hello, greetings from India. Hello, Lightning Soul. How are you, dude? What's my highest kill count in Hell Let Loose? The most amount of kills I've ever gotten in one match, I've gotten like over 100 kills in one match with artillery. Just artillery. I was on artillery all game. If you're talking about most kills about artillery, probably like 80 kills in a tank in one match. I did get like close to 100 kills as a sniper once. It was a long match. It was like an hour long. Oh, I don't know. I haven't played Half-Life 2 and then Hamzat. The thing is though, Gunner, is that the thank you Runaway 3 for sponsoring my channel. The French were the villains in the Vietnam War, and they were, you know, a lot of people say that America started the Vietnam War. America didn't start the Vietnam War. France started it. And you know, France was trying to colonize Vietnam after the World War II, and they shouldn't have done that. France should have just let Vietnam have its independence. But they were trying to colonize it, and then what happened was the Chinese started supporting the Viet Minh, who were the communists in North Vietnam. They ended up taking power, and then Vietnam ended up getting split into two countries, you know, North and South Vietnam, and then North Vietnam invaded South Vietnam, and the U.S. started arming South Vietnam, and then the Vietnam War happened. And yeah, so I think if France was never involved in that conflict, it's entirely possible that Vietnam might have united under a government that wasn't communist. When you do get around to playing Half-Life 1, I'd say have a poll whether to play Half-Life 1 original or the remake, Black Mesa. Don't play the source version. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, General's Alert.
Alright.
Gordon Freeman, Adrian Shepard, and Barney Calhoun. Gordon Freeman? Wait, who, what? Adrian Shepard and I don't know these. Who are they? Oh, okay. Hamzat, I promise you, I will play Half-Life one day. Yeah, I will play those games, Gunner, the Brothers in Arms games. Have you thought of playing Mafia 3 after you play the other Mafia games? Yes, I'm gonna play all of the Mafia games this year before Mafia The Old Country comes out. So before The Old Country comes out, I will play all of the Mafia games. Yeah, it's entirely possible, Big. He could have survived. Very possible. Well, you know what I want to do? I want to do a lore video on Henry Tomasino in Mafia 2. That's one that I've wanted to do for some time. I want to do that. How did Stalin die? He had a stroke. Well, I gotta play the Persona games. I know that I have one of the Persona games on PlayStation for free. I remember I downloaded it. I think it came with the PS5, but I never played it though. I think it was a Persona game, but how do I get into your lobby? Oh, you'd have to have me added. And here's the thing, guys. I wish I could play in a public session with you guys. I wish I could, because then, you know, you could join me and you wouldn't have me added. But I can't play in public sessions. And the reason I can't play in public sessions, guys, is because if I played in a public session, you would not enjoy the stream. You wouldn't. If I played in a public session, I would have people joining me every 5 minutes, just constantly harassing me, spamming me with messages, blowing me up, orbital cannon, oppressor Mark II, ghost organization. It would just be, a never-ending, stream of just people being toxic as hell to me. And it wouldn't be an enjoyable one. And I wouldn't be able to really answer any questions because I would constantly have to on the lookout for these idiots going after me. But anybody here who's watched my streams like years ago, if you watched my streams like years ago, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How bad it got. Does anybody here know what I'm talking about? Anybody seen my streams years ago? You know how bad it was. With people griefers joining. But I'm not saying you're gonna grief, dude. But the reason that I can't play in a public session is because if I played in a public session, that stuff would happen. That stuff, like people constantly joining me and like harassing me and going after me. So the only way I can play GTA Online is I play with friends. Like I play a friends only session and people join me, and I haven't had any incidents. So like we've played years, and we have barely had any incidents. Like barely any. We like go entire streams, no incidents, nothing bad happening. But it was in the past it was like really bad, and so that's why I have to like do that. And the thing is though is that I will tell you the harassment that I got like playing GTA Online in public sessions, it made me not want to stream GTA Online in a way too. Like I liked helping people and I enjoyed the game, don't get me wrong, but it was just the harassment that I got. It was like so bad that it demoralized me. It was like every single stream I would have to constantly refresh the lobby. Like I'd be doing this, like I'd be pressing down on the D-pad like constantly and just like seeing like who's in the lobby like constantly over and over and over again, just to basically see who's in there to see if a griefer had joined. And I would be like constantly going through my map and I'd be like going here and like looking around, seeing if somebody's in a facility, somebody's on an orbital cannon, over and over and over again. Yeah, one of the main reasons the burnout happened, and I stopped playing GTA Online for a year. I took a break for a year because I couldn't handle it because it was really really affecting me in a negative way. Do you ever game on PC? I play mostly on console, but I do play on PC also, Random Fist. And yeah, and guys, yeah, so that was basically it. How do I get trusted to be able to play alongside you, bro? You don't have to do anything for me to trust you. I can add you. If you want, I can add you. Just tell me what your PSN is, and then you can play with me next stream. I have a policy where I usually, if I add people on a stream, I usually add only 2 people per stream. Because if I add every single person, it's gonna be, hundreds of people at once. So I add 2 people usually every stream. So you can be the first person I add today, if you want. And you don't have to donate to me for me to add you. I'll add you, regardless. So it's, Is both Gulag prisoner or slave and African-American slaves in the 19th century somewhat similar, or is it very different? Thank you, Mr. Jesus. Well, it's both slave labor. You are being owned by somebody. You're either owned by the greedy, southern, plantation owners, or you're owned by the Soviet government in a gulag. So what happened in the gulags was very much slave labor. It was, people did not have freedom. They were forced to, they were forced to work, forced to mine rocks in like negative 20 degrees weather. It was slavery. What happened in the gulags? But tell me what your PSN is, hit, and I can add you. That's why I stopped playing. I got griefed. Yeah, and it's people get so toxic. Oh no, I see Random Fist super chat. I see it. Love your insight and history about different topics. Thank you. Essence, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. All slavery is bad. All slavery is evil. What Stalin did to people in the gulags, that was slavery. It was. And what these these scumbag, southern plantation owners and these, Confederates did, it was slavery as well. So it's I don't understand you, dude. All slavery is evil. You can't own another human being. No, I'm not gonna ban him. The security officers who were too scared to check on Stalin when he had the stroke that killed him are unironically history's greatest heroes. Maybe. Yeah, Kane. Wonder what happened to them, too. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah. And I don't understand I don't understand I don't understand why the one guy in chat was getting so angry at me. I don't understand it. I was not downplaying slavery that happened in the South at all. And honestly, my perspective on slavery in the South is I think my view is I think the U.S. government went too easy on the South after the end of the Civil War. I think if you were a plantation owner that owned slaves, I think you should have got the death penalty. That's my view on it. So I think that, you know, the plantation owner should have got executed. So I think they went too easy on them. But just because I said that the Gulag, you know, labor was slave labor doesn't mean that I'm downplaying, you know, what happened in the South. You know, slavery is slavery. So it's like, my God, dude. You know, my great grandfather was a prisoner in a Siberian Gulag. Stalin arrested him, and he was forced to mine rocks in negative 20-degree weather. He barely had enough to eat. He was constantly beaten, forced to work. He had, you know, worked 14-hour shifts with no breaks, no food. And, you know, for you to tell me that that's not slavery, what my great-grandfather went through, that's kind of offensive. Thank you, Hit, for the super chat. Okay, waiting for this one to be delivered here. That guy is trolling. I don't know. I'm getting just a little bit. I'm getting a little bit pissed and annoyed because it's what my family went through in the Gulag, and so that's just okay, waiting for this to be delivered. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you're right, Chaz.
Have a sale. Currency's in your wallet and logged on to login app.
Okay, let me see here. Okay, look, dude, oh my god. You know, last thing I'm gonna say on this is what prisoners went through in the gulags. The forced labor they went through, that was slavery. What happened in the gulags. That was very much slavery. I'm not downplaying slavery anywhere else in the world by saying that was slavery. I wasn't defending slavery in the South or anything like that. I said that what happened in Soviet Russia was slavery. I don't know why you're putting words in my mouth. Do I think Hitler killed himself? Yeah, Hitler killed himself. Don't believe the conspiracies that, literally don't believe the conspiracy people saying that he escaped to Argentina. No, he didn't escape to Argentina. He killed himself. Don't believe that. No, I'm not banning him from chat. I'm not timing him out. I believe in free speech, even if free speech is like, you know, even if free speech is, even if the person is like insulting me or arguing with me. It's literally, I have, anybody that's been by my streams a lot of times, you know that one of the things that annoys me and pisses me off so much is when people when you have those like neo Confederates that basically say that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. It's one of the stupidest things I've heard. When it was the entire reason the Confederacy seceded was over slavery. But I guess that guy missed all the times I said that, where I criticized the neo Confederates constantly. And he thinks that because I said what Stalin did to people in gulags as slavery, that somehow he's accusing me of defending slavery in America, when it's not true. Anybody who owns another person as property, anybody who engages in slavery, I think should get the death penalty. And that goes for the Soviet gulag, commanders. That goes for the Confederates who own slaves. Anybody who owns, people as property, I think deserves a death penalty. So that's, slavery is one of the most barbaric, crimes that you can commit against somebody. Because you're basically tormenting somebody to, like, the rest of their life as property. No freedom whatsoever. It's one of the worst crimes you can commit. But yeah, my great grandfather, he would have died in the gulag, if not for the German invasion. When the German invasion happened, the Polish population from the gulags was released, and they were allowed to form an army to fight against the Germans. And so yeah, that's my great grandfather. No matter how tough he was, he probably would not have ended up surviving in the gulag for a couple more years. He would have died in there. But he was a really tough man. I don't know how he got through that, how he survived being in a gulag. But that was, Do I have any animosity towards Russians or communists? I have no problem with Russians, whatsoever. I have problems with communists. Communists I have no toleration for. I cannot stand communists. But Russians I have no problem with. I feel like Super Chat is sometimes the only way to get our questions answered. No offense. No, it's not, dude. You can ask me anything. I was just, maybe I shouldn't have, gotten so upset. But I got a bit upset at that guy because he was putting words in my mouth, and he was accusing me of supporting the Confederacy, which I never said, and that got me a bit pissed. So that I just got a bit annoyed by that. There, here, almost there. Okay, here we go. Nice. Benedict Arnold's betrayal wasn't over his credit, Gunner. It was primarily over money. That was the primary reason. Benedict Arnold was a corrupt guy. Even when he was an American general, he actually stole a lot of property. He stole a lot of money. When he was he was occupying, I think it was Philadelphia, which he occupied. He, he stole a lot of stuff.
We should catch up over around and go. Hey, what's up? Hey there.
And we have a sale. Digital assets transferred to your account, and that's it.
Okay, I know the story that you're talking about. It's actually a famous story where it was German paratroopers actually protected like a they protected like Jewish people from the SS that were gonna arrest them. I know it's a story that's it's portrayed in a movie. It was a movie from the 1960s. There was this movie where it was portrayed in that movie, but it was a real event that happened. Well, ignored him. He's trying to outsmart you. If I was him, I would not be tolerated or soft in that situation. Thank you, Agent Reaper. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, dude. And thank you, Game and Ink. Hey, Patrick, I've seen a lot of people saying GTA 6 will cost $100. Do you think that will actually be how much the game costs? No. Not at all. It's not true. I don't think even Rockstar is that greedy where they're going to do something like that. It's not going to happen. There might be $100 edition, but it's going to be like a collector's edition. It's not going to be the base game.
Look who it is. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but I would say my favorite Assassin's Creed villain is probably Haytham. That's who I would say, Gunner. Yeah, Haytham is probably my favorite one. What I don't understand is why is there a lot of neo-Nazism in the Slavic countries? Because Nazis wanted to Germanize and eradicate most of the Slavs, and you are correct in that, Mark. And I will tell you something, the not neo-Nazis are some of the biggest idiots out there, but Slavic neo-Nazis are literally the biggest idiots. And it is true, Eastern Europe does have a neo-Nazi problem. You are 100% right on that. And the thing is, these people are so stupid because they're following an ideology that would call for their genocide. Like, the Nazis hated Slavs. Like, if Hitler had won World War II, he would have exterminated the entire Slavic population. Like, the Nazis did not consider Slavs to be Aryan. They didn't consider them to be people, even. So literally, the fact that somebody who's Slavic, an Eastern European, could even be a neo-Nazi is one of the stupidest things that I've heard. So those people are the biggest idiots ever. The Nazis would have killed them if they had lived back then. Thanks for friending me on PSN. You're a good guy. Thank you, Own Titan. Will I stream on Twitch? Not really, I don't think so, dude. I stream on PlayStation, or I stream on YouTube, because it's I like to keep my community all in one place. Did the US and Western countries know about the gulags and how bad it was, and they do nothing to confront the Soviets until they collapsed? The thing is, though, the Western world did not know about how bad the gulags are until, I would say, probably after World War II. Because there was, stories, people knew, there was people who escaped from the gulags, survived the gulags, beforehand, but I wouldn't say that we fully knew about, how bad the gulags were until, like, the 40s and the 50s. That was it, and it was when the Soviet Union collapsed and all the records were released, we saw there was over 30,000 gulag camps. Imagine that, 30,000 camps, over 20 million prisoners, and how many people died in those camps, we don't know. There's some people say 2 million, but I think the number is closer to 5 million. That's of people that died in the gulags, because the thing is, though, is if you look at the Kolyma gulag, Kolyma was a very far eastern gulag in Siberia. It was so far east that it was actually closer to Japan than it was to Moscow. That's how far east that gulag was. And in that gulag, there was over 12,000 Polish prisoners of war sent to that gulag. And these were, Polish soldiers that were captured when the Soviets invaded Poland, when the Soviets invaded and colonized, eastern Poland. And what happened is those Polish prisoners of 12,000, a year and a half later, those prisoners were released a year and a half later. And the only reason they were released is because it was when Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union, and the Polish government in exile told Stalin to release the prisoners so that they could, form an army to, help defeat the Nazis. Stalin agreed. So out of the 12,000 Polish prisoners of war, can anybody guess, after a year and a half, out of the 12,000, how many actually survived? Can anybody guess on that? What do you think? A year and a half, 12,000 people. How many people do you think survived in that gulag for a year and a half? The number is really, really, really bad. You're close, FM15. It was only 500. So imagine that, 12,000 prisoners got sent to this work camp. 12,000. And out of the 12,000, only 500 something survived in 1.5, and that's 1.5 year. In 1.5 years, only around 500 of them survived. That's only one gulag. So now, if you take that and you take all of the gulags that were like built in the Soviet Union, that's millions of deaths, or millions of people worked to death. So this is exactly what I say when the Soviet Union is not a worker's paradise. The Soviet Union was a giant slave labor camp. That's what it was. 30,000 gulag camps, 30,000 work camps, over 20 million gulag prisoners. That's not a worker's paradise, that's a giant slave labor camp. Hassan says different. Hassan is an idiot. Thank you, Suspect 13, and you're right. Thank you, Mr. Jesus. Katyn was done by the Soviets. The Soviets were the ones who committed the Katyn massacre. I don't know how anybody, can say they didn't. The Soviets even admitted that they did it. They literally released records, and they, Okay, here we go. But the thing is, though, is that my great-grandfather, he's very, lucky he managed to survive the Gulag, and, after, he probably would not have survived there if he was there for years. but he survived. I don't know how he did it. If I was in a gulag, I don't think I would survive. I don't think I would make it. Wait, what was he doing, Chaz? Oh, I don't really know many Tarantino films, Gunner. I'm not really a film guy. Okay, Chaz.
And we have a sale. Digital assets transferred to your account, and that's it from LJT.
Dang, Pro, it's been a while since I caught your stream. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Manix. Thanks, dude. I hope you're doing well, too. What happened to the Karelians during Stalin's reign? You're talking about the Finns who lived in Karelia, the territory that was taken from Finland. They evacuated. Most of them did. The Finnish government evacuated like 400,000 people from Karelia. Most of them that survived. They evacuated. They fled to Western Finland. The ones that stayed, I don't know, but I can only imagine bad things happened. Thank you, Mobinator, for sponsoring my channel. I missed the super chat. Oh, thank you, Suspect13. Oh, and also about the people who keep asking me did Hitler escape to Argentina. No, he didn't. He died in his bunker in Berlin. He blew his brains out. And do you know how I know this? The answer is easy. How I know that Hitler killed himself. Because if Hitler had actually somehow managed to escape to Argentina, the only way he could have escaped to Argentina is if he got in a U-boat. Because he couldn't have gotten on a plane and gotten that far. He had to gotten a submarine, but he didn't. And here's the thing is, the Allies launched an investigation after World War II. So the Allies didn't just take the Nazis' word for it that Hitler killed himself. The Allies didn't believe it. So when the Germans had said that Hitler killed himself, the Allies didn't believe it. The Soviets didn't believe it. The Americans didn't believe it. The British didn't believe it. And there was an investigation launched. All of the countries launched an investigation. And what happened is they all found Hitler killed himself. They checked, South America. They looked at other countries. There was no proof whatsoever that he had actually escaped. The only leader who was convinced that that Hitler was alive was Stalin. Stalin thought that Hitler was still somehow alive, somehow escaped. And what happened was Stalin was more using it as propaganda against the West because he was claiming that the West was hiding Hitler, but he gave no proof whatsoever. So Stalin was kind of just using that just specifically against the West. But basically, Here's the thing is, guys, imagine that Hitler had actually escaped to Argentina, right? Like, imagine he actually escaped there. Do you have any idea what that would do to Argentina? If Hitler had somehow escaped to Argentina, he would have been the most wanted person in human history. Out of all the people that are wanted, he would have been 100% the most wanted man on Earth in all of human history. Nobody would have been more wanted than him. And if not even Argentina would have hit him, nobody would hide Hitler. Nobody would. No country would. And even Argentina was pro-Nazi. They hit a lot of Nazis, but Argentina, even though they gave refuge to a lot of Nazis, they would not even dare hide Hitler. And the reason they wouldn't dare hide Hitler is because if Argentina had hit Hitler, the entire world would have invaded Argentina. Everybody would have invaded Argentina. Every single country would have attacked Argentina. So Argentina would not take a risk like that. So they gave refuge to other Nazis, that's true, but they wouldn't have given refuge to Hitler because then literally the entire world would have invaded Argentina. So that's basically what I'll say about it, is that how big would the bounty be? If there was a bounty on Hitler, probably it'd be something closer to over $100 million in today's money. Probably more than that. But that's so no country would do that. And here's the thing is, Francisco Franco was sympathetic to Hitler. Spain was the last fascist country in Europe. Not even Franco would hide Hitler. Like, if Hitler had actually somehow gotten a submarine and gotten to Spain and told Franco, like, hide me, Franco would say, no, hell no, get out of here. So, like, not even Franco would hide him, because Franco would not want to get Spain invaded. So the point is, Hitler killed himself in his bunker. No country in the world would have hit him. And there's no way that Hitler could have pulled something off like that, like hiding in another country, creating a new identity without another government knowing that. So, literally, everybody did investigations. Israel did investigations into this as well, and Israel found no proof that Hitler had escaped. They concluded that he died in his, in his bunker. So, there's no proof that Hitler had escaped or, fled to Argentina. It's all just conspiracies. He killed himself in his bunker. That's pretty much where it ended for him. I liked all the characters in that game, Gunnar, Chris, Matthias, and Jennifer. Why didn't Hitler destroy Paris? Well, he tried to. He wanted to. The thing about Paris is there was a Hitler had given orders to destroy Paris as the Americans were approaching, and the orders that he gave orders to blow up the bridges in Paris, blow up the Notre Dame Cathedral, blow up the Eiffel Tower. So Eiffel Tower was to be blown up. The Notre Dame, the 1,000-year-old cathedral, that was to be blown up. But the reason it never happened is because the German general who was in charge of it never went through with it. And there's two theories on why he didn't go through with it. There's two theories on it. The first theory is that what he basically claimed, he wrote a book about it. The general who was ordered to destroy Paris, he wrote a book about it. And he claimed that he disobeyed Hitler because he loved French architecture and he didn't want to destroy the city. And that's version number one. Version number two is that he wanted to destroy Paris, but he couldn't because he didn't have the resources and that much explosives to actually destroy, like, Notre Dame and, and the Eiffel Tower and all the other stuff. So basically, that's it depends on which version you want to believe. Either version has not been proven. It hasn't been proven which version is correct. Nobody knows. It's either he intentionally disobeyed Hitler because he didn't want to destroy Paris, or he didn't have the resources to blow up those buildings. It's either one of those two, but we don't know which one it is. But from what I've seen, the majority of the French people, like the French, they believe that the German general intentionally disobeyed the orders. So most French people believe that he disobeyed it. That's most what the French think about it. Which do you believe? I think I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's really difficult to take a German general at his word. So you don't know exactly. Maybe he did disobey Hitler. You know, you don't know. But it's so I don't know. But he is that German general who disobeyed Hitler. He actually is in a Call of Duty game. He's in Call of Duty World War II. So he's basically that guy who the French girl she saves him. He's like the German contact in the inside the German HQ. But he has a fictional name in the game. But he's based on that guy. I think his name was Chalich. It was I'd have to look up the German general's name exactly. Gunnar, what was his name again? You know this I think, right? What do you think about Robin Williams' death in 2014? I the thing about Robin Williams is I was very surprised by that. I had no idea that he was suffering through depression. And Robin Williams actually he always seemed like such a cheerful guy. Like he was such a cheerful guy. He was always in like such a mood. You know, and the thing about Robin Williams is he was always like that actor that could, you know, basically put a smile on your face. And so I had no idea that he had, you know, that many you know, that many actual problems. And the crazy thing about this is he actually Robin Williams actually played in a movie. He actually was in one movie that dealt with depression, where the main character that he played as wanted to kill himself but didn't kill himself. And so that kind of surprised me that he played in a movie that dealt with depression, but then he ended up, you know, killing himself. It was horrible when that happened. It was I forget the name of the movie, but it was a movie. It was a movie where he played as like a doctor. I saw it like when I was a kid. He played as like a doctor, and he would pretend to be like a clown and like cheer kids up. And then it was like his girlfriend or fiance was like murdered, and he, you know, became depressed and he wanted to kill himself, but then he decided not to kill himself. I forget the name of the movie, but somebody might know in the comments what movie I'm talking about. I saw it a long time ago. Patch Adams, yeah, that was it then. Let me ask you something, Gunnar, because I know that you like history as well. Do you think, which version of that story do you believe? Do you believe that Chalich intentionally disobeyed Hitler, or do you believe that he didn't have the resources to do it and he wanted to do it? Because some people say he lied just to make himself look better at the end of World War II, but... What happened to your grandfather when he was released from a gulag? Did he join two Polish corps? Did you know two Polish had been named Wojtek in their ranks? Yes, that was a bear. He was a bear that was trained by the Polish army, and the bear would actually bring artillery shells over. So it was a bear that the Polish army had with them, and the bear was so like big it would carry giant boxes of artillery shells to the soldiers. And the bear actually got a military rank. I think it was a corporal or a sergeant. Yeah, no, this is a real story. Go on Google and type in Polish World War II bear, and it'll come up right away. Wojtek, like the Polish bear, that he was like he had a rank. He was in the Polish military, and he brought over he helped load artillery. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. It was a real thing that happened. Also, the crazy thing about the Polish bear also smoked cigarettes and drank vodka. As ridiculous as that might sound, it did. do have a different mic today? No. Oh, did I just hit somebody? I'm sorry. Crap. Yeah, he was sent to a zoo in the UK after the war. That is true. Pro, I recently got my driver's license. I did a written test. Where would you recommend I start driving to get used to it? You got your driver's license for a written test? I've never heard about something like that. I had to take a I had to take I had to meet the instructor when I, but if you've driven before, right? But the best place that you can learn how to drive, the best place, a large parking lot, a large and I would say, yeah, a large parking lot that's empty. Make sure it's a parking lot that not a lot of people go to, because you don't want to drive around in a parking lot where there's cars constantly coming in. There was this office building that was like I would say like half a mile from my house, and the office building had a very big parking lot. Like the parking lot was so big, like it was like not even like it was like way too big for the office building. Like not even 20% of the workers had filled up the entire parking lot. So like it had so much space, and what the office building's parking lot, it connected into a few streets, like a few side streets, and these side streets nobody went on these side streets. And there was like a stop sign, like a red light there, and this was like the perfect place for me to learn how to drive. And my dad and me, we practiced there like every single day after school. My dad would drive with me there for 30 minutes every day, and that was like the perfect place for me to learn how to drive. Pro, do you think as a Pole you can understand some Russian? I speak Russian fluently and can understand somewhat my Polish friend. My Ukrainian ex can easily understand Polish. Well, a lot of Polish and Ukrainian words are very similar to each other. But I will also say, I can understand some Russian. Like when I'm playing when I'm playing Black Ops 1 right now, I can understand a lot of the words that the Soviet characters are saying. So when the Soviet characters are talking, in the games, I understand a lot of what they're saying. Like I know the Soviet advisor in the Vietnam mission, the guy who forces you Woods and Bowman and Mason to play Russian roulette. He says, what does he say in Russian? I'm trying to remember what he says. He says, igrai и умирай, which that means play and die. I'm pretty sure that's what that means, play and die. And then and then I know the one guard in the Vorkuta mission, he yells at Reznov and he calls Reznov a sobaki, which that means a dog. So I know that. So generally I will whenever I hear like Russian characters in games, I generally understand a lot of the words they're saying. But if you're asking me, can I understand what they're saying? No. I will understand their words that they're saying, a lot of them, but I'm not able to understand what they're saying exactly. Play or die? Oh, it's play or die. I thought it was play and die. Um, That's right, he says you only understand brute force, you dogs. Oh. Okay. I have not, I have never had a, Vietnamese food, Gunner. I should try it. I've never had it. Does Vietnamese food have a lot of seafood? Because I generally like seafood. I really like seafood. But I gotta try it one day. How does Russia teach about the Cotton Massacre in present day? I don't know how they teach it in schools, but I do know that Russia in recent years, what they've done is they've dismantled part of the Cotton Memorial, and what they've done is they started promoting like Russian historians have started promoting conspiracy theories about the Cotton Massacre, and they started promoting conspiracy theories that the Nazis were responsible for it, not the Soviets. The Nazis were really horrible and evil, but the Cotton Massacre was not a massacre they did. That was one massacre the Nazis didn't do. That the Soviets did that, and the Soviets blamed the Nazis for it. So a lot of like Russian historians, they will like come up with these ridiculous conspiracies, and they'll say, oh, it wasn't, the Polish prisoners weren't murdered in Cotton by the Soviets, it was the Nazis. But that's not true. All documentation shows it was the Soviets who did it. The soldiers were executed in April of 1940. That's when it happened. So the bodies can be dated to that time. The Polish prisoners were under Soviet occupation in that area, and Soviet records from 1989 shows the Soviets who did it. Okay, what are we doing right now? Does anybody else need help with anything?
Trying to pick my pocket, asshole. No,
there was a gulag-style death camp in Mexico, in the state of Jalisco, and the perpetrators of Jalisco cartel, Mencho's cartel. Where even is Mencho right now? Is Mencho like, has Mencho been arrested, or is he still on the run? Well, like Mencho is like, El Mencho is like a really, really evil guy.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
And you barely hear about El Mencho in the news. You constantly hear about the Sinaloa cartel, but Mencho is a really, really bad guy. Like, Mencho is one of the worst cartel bosses. El Mencho, he's a cartel boss in Mexico. He's a really, really bad guy. Really, really bad guy. According to propaganda, it usually portrays Polish officers as enemies of the Soviet regime who would incite political opposition. The Soviets were the ones who would incite crap in Poland all the time, constantly violating Polish sovereignty, stepping all over Poland. And they act like Poland is the aggressor in that situation. Disgusting. I know that like a lot of Russian historians act like what when Stalin invaded Poland in 1939, that it wasn't an act of imperialism. They act like it was some kind of liberation. That's what they act like. Ridiculous.
Hey, you're supposed to call me. Right.
Anybody need help? Invite me. Yeah, and my great grandfather, he was a Polish soldier who had defended his country from the Soviets who were attacking it, and he got captured and he got sent to a gulag. And so that was like, for those stupid Russian historians that say like that Stalin was like liberating Poland. Well, what did my great grandfather do? Exactly. Why did he get sent to a gulag?
Didn't even get to leave the office for 2 minutes today.
Anybody need help? Invite me. What do I know about the Black Death? Oh, the Black Death, that was such a, the Black Death might have been the worst pandemic in history, was it? I would have to Google it if it was. But it was definitely one of the worst pandemics in history. The Black Death was like, the Black Death was such a horrible pandemic. It killed 30% of Europe's 30 or 40% of Europe's population. So if you like lived in Europe during like the time period of the Black Death, you had like a 30 to 40% chance of dying from it. So it was but 30-40% chance of dying in general. If you got the Black Death, you were gonna die. There was like no treatment for that. There was no medicine for that. You were pretty much dead. So if you got it, you were finished. It might have been the worst pandemic that happened in history. I'd have to Google it if it was, but it was definitely one of the worst. It wiped out 70% of Europe's population. Oh my god, 70%. It was even more than I thought. Okay, yeah. Let me just Google this right now. I'm gonna Google this. What was the worst pandemic in history? Let's see here. When I typed it on Google, there isn't a clear answer on what was the worst pandemic in history. Yeah, so, the Black Death took place over an 8-year period. And it says here that that in the Black Death, between 75 to 200 million people died. Between 75 million to 200 million people. Yeah, so that was a 25 to 50 million deaths. Well, one is saying between 75 million to 200 million. But it's a I guess it depends on the source, because back then when stuff like that happened back then, it was very difficult to record stuff like that. So it was very difficult to record exactly how many people died from the disease. But it was well, the belief about the Black Death is that a lot of people believe that the Black Death, that it came from China. What basically happened with the Black Death was that the Black Death came from fleas. So it was from fleas on rats that arrived on ships from Asia. So that's what people think. People think that it was like Chinese trading ships that came in, or Central Asian trading ships. But it was ships from Asia, so like more the far eastern parts of Asia, that came into Europe to trade, and that's what people believe, that it came from that. Yeah, humans didn't know what germs were. You're right on that. But here's the thing about didn't Poland avoid Black Death by not letting foreigners in cities? No, it's a little bit different than that. So Poland did not get Poland didn't get sick from the Black Death. So like the Black Death pandemic did not happen in Poland. Like pretty much all of Europe, the pandemic happened, but Poland didn't. And the reason there was no pandemic in Poland is because what happened was the Polish law, basically, how it was is if you came to a Polish city, they would basically write down your name. So like the guard would see you, they would write down your name and record it, and they would say, you know, this person is trying to enter the city here, and they would tell the person, if you want to come into the city, come back in 4 days from now. And usually after like a couple days, people start showing symptoms of the Black Plague, and if the person came back 4 days later and they were healthy, they were let in the city. If they were sick, they wouldn't be let in the city. So that was basically what that policy that Poland put in, that pretty much had stopped the Black Death from spreading. That stopped it.
Oh, heaven's sake!
Does anybody need help? Invite me. Do I believe the famous Spanish conquistadors were bad or evil people? They were evil. The conquistadors were horrible, horrible human beings. They were, the conquistadors had destroyed, the entire, Aztec civilization. And the thing about the Aztecs, the Aztecs themselves were evil. The Aztecs did horrible things. Like, the Aztecs committed, massacres against the Incas. And they had, sacrificed tons of people. But what the conquistadors did, they literally mass murdered the civilization. Like, they just killed all the civilians. They burnt the cities. They were, the conquistadors were evil. So even though the Aztec government was evil, the civilians did not deserve that, what the Spanish conquistadors did. And so these, like, it's, oh, CEO invite, I'm sorry. Cortez, I think he was the worst conquistador out of all of them. Oh man, yeah, the conquistadors were some vile people. Evil people. You want compromise? How's this? 20 years in the can. That's from Sopranos. Didn't the conquistadors attack the Mayans? No, because the Mayans had collapsed before the conquistadors arrived. What about the missionaries that accompanied the conquistadors? What about the missionaries? Some of the Spanish missionaries were generally good people. Some of them were, and they had actually tried to warn a lot of the natives that the conquistadors were coming. So some of the missionaries were generally good people who had tried to warn the natives that the conquistadors were coming. But what I will generally say about the conquistadors. The conquistadors justified a lot of their actions based on religion, but what I will say about it is, I wouldn't blame religion for what the conquistadors did. I would blame imperialism and monarchy. It was imperialism and monarchy that had pretty much done what the conquistadors did. So I wouldn't necessarily blame the religion. I would more blame the monarchy and imperialism. It was imperialism, colonialism. That was the primary reason on why they were doing what they did. Why did Minnie run me over? I have no idea. What are we doing here? What's going on now here? Oh, we're sourcing crates. Oh, okay. I was a bit confused on what I was confused on what we were doing right now. I'm sorry. I'm losing my track of thought. I'm sorry. Where do you lean politically? I generally tend to stay away from discussion on that. My personal viewpoint is I lean much more libertarian party. So not the, Republicans or Democrats, more the libertarians. Well, greed is part of imperialism. You can't have imperialism without greed. Like, greed is a concept of imperialism. It's like, greed is one of the things that causes imperialism. What's up with the quality? Wait, what's wrong, dude? Well, Ponce de Leon was an idiot. He was a madman. Here's the thing about Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon, he was a real Spanish conquistador and explorer. He is actually who Florida is named after in GTA 6. So here's a fun history fact for you guys. In GTA 6, Florida is called Leonida. It's called Leonida in the game, and that is that's based on Ponce de Leon. And Ponce de Leon was a Spanish explorer who he was the first European to really explore Florida. And that's why Florida is called Leonida in GTA 6. It's based off of Ponce de Leon. But Ponce de Leon was insane. Like, he actually was insane. Like, Ponce de Leon was convinced that Florida had the Fountain of Youth, or he was convinced that there was like an island with the Fountain of Youth. So he would go through Florida looking for the Fountain of Youth. He would just jump in like random lakes, and he thought that he would turn young, that he would that he would turn into like a young adult again. And so he kept looking for the Fountain of Youth. He never found it. And he died. And so he was a madman. And that's the thing is that is why Florida is called Leonida in GTA 6. It's a parody off Ponce de Leon. It's basically what Rockstar is basically saying is they're saying that Leonida is a state full of crazy people because Ponce de Leon was a crazy person. So when they're saying it's Leonida, Florida, they're saying that Florida in GTA 6 is a state full of crazy people. That's what Rockstar is basically making fun of with Leonida. What's Vice City? Miami? Yes, Vice City is Miami. Well, Leonida is Florida, but personally speaking, I don't like the new name. I don't like Leonida. I think it should have been called Florida because in GTA Vice City and Vice City Stories, it was actually called. In those games, it was actually called Florida. So Vice City was located in the state of Florida. And in GTA 4, when they say Vice City, they say Vice City is in the state of Florida. That's what they said. And now they've completely gotten rid of that canon. And now they changed the name Florida to Leonida. So I used to like the old name Florida better. I think it's kind of weird they created a whole new name. I mean, they had San Andreas, California, but they should have. I like them keeping Florida personally. What is that? Armored truck? Okay. I mean, no, I trust me, Rockstar is not trying to offend people from Florida with GTA 6. They're not. I'm a New Yorker. I'm from New York. And there was a lot of stereotypes about New Yorkers in the old GTA games in Liberty City, and I was not offended at all. I actually thought it was funny. So it's there was I remember there was a commercial in GTA what was it, GTA 4 or GTA 5, and it was saying that the commercial was come to Liberty City for vacation. Liberty City is one of the most polluted cities in America. Come here for vacation. And then another guy says, what do you like about Liberty City? And one guy says, I love how Liberty City smells like piss in the summer. That's what one guy said. It's a commercial in GTA. That's what he actually said. And I as a New Yorker, I was not offended. I thought it was funny. So that's what I'll say about it. It's a GTA 5 commercial. Okay, yeah. So I did hear it somewhere. Wait, what? Converted what? Oh no. Ah, great. I have a scuba suit? Yeah. I can't put my scuba suit on. Oh, great. I can call in the digging from the Kasatka. Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. I almost forgot about that. Thank you, dude. Funniest moment in Yakuza 0 story, I think the visa mission, the mission where she wanted you to get a visa, but you got a pizza for her instead. Oh, I didn't know that, Big Unk. Thoughts on Konstantin Rokossovsky. You're talking about the Soviet Polish general. I know who you're talking about. About him, he was a good commander. Definitely. He was a very intelligent commander. But Rokossovsky, he said a famous line. And the line that he said is, he said, the Soviets consider me Polish, and the Polish consider me Russian. That's what Rokossovsky said, and that's actually true. Is that both sides generally did not like him. Now, a lot of people in Poland see him as a traitor. They see him as, somebody who, cooperated with Stalin and helped to occupy Poland. So generally, he has an unfavorable view in Poland. What is your hot take in GTA games? What do you mean, Isaiah? Can you explain a little bit more? An unpopular opinion. An unpopular opinion I have about the GTA series, let me think. Something I believe is not popular about GTA, that most people would disagree with me on. I don't know. Well, I can give you an answer. Just give me a moment. I don't know. I'd have to think about something. There definitely is something that I probably Ryder, maybe Ryder. A lot of people like Ryder as a character. I can't stand Ryder. I think that Ryder is a scumbag. Like, I really cannot stand Ryder. He really annoys me. I don't like him. A lot of people like Ryder so much. I don't like Ryder. I like Caesar. I like Sweet. But I don't like Ryder. For me personally, I think that Ryder is the most overrated GTA character. I really do think he's the most overrated GTA character. Because, like, every single mission that he's with CJ, all he does is he talks crap. Constantly just talks crap. He's not helpful. He runs away. He's a coward. And on top of that, he betrays CJ. So he's a scumbag. I mean, like, every mission with Ryder is just non-stop talking crap. Just talking crap every time. He's a genius, though. Oh, man. King Leopold II. Leopold, oh, man. Leopold, here's about Leopold. Leopold is probably the most evil king in Western Europe. So out of all of the Western European monarchies, Leopold is probably the worst one. He is probably the most evil one. He is such a, horrible, evil man. If I made like a video, right? If I made like a video, top 10 most evil like dictators in like the 20th century, Leopold would definitely be on that list. So he would definitely be on that. Hitler and Stalin would be pretty much the top, but Leopold would still be on that list. Top 10 most evil dictators in the 20th century. And the reason that Leopold is so evil is what he did in the Congo. So Belgium, when Belgium took over the Congo, they enslaved millions of people in the Congo, and the Belgians were more brutal than the Germans were in Africa. What the Belgians did is that they enslaved children, women, and if you slowed down, like if you were too slow, what the Belgians would do is they would cut off your hands. So, like, there was Belgian soldiers that would walk around with machetes, and if a slave was too slow, if a slave was exhausted, they fainted, they collapsed, they would cut off your hands. And there was, like, if you don't look it up because it's really brutal, but there are a lot of pictures out there of, like, people in the Congo that don't have their hands. And the reason there's so many people in the Congo that don't have their hands is because the Belgians did that. And there was, in the Congo, Leopold killed somewhere between 1 million to 2 million Congo people. So he was, like, the Belgians were one of the most brutal European empires in Africa. Like, I think the Belgians were probably the worst out of the Europeans in Africa. Out of all the Europeans, the Belgians were probably the most brutal ones in Africa. And the thing is, when you think about a country like Belgium, you could think like a small peaceful country like Belgium today. You could not imagine that a country like this, such a small country, could do such evil things, kill that many people, but they did. So it's like history has shown us that even the most smallest, most peaceful nations can be capable of the most horrific, evil acts, and that's what Belgium showed us. It's like a lot of people think that Belgium never did anything bad in its history, but no, Belgium has done some really, really bad things in its history. What are some games where the bad ending is better? Call of Duty Cold War is a perfect game where the bad ending is better than the good ending. What does canon mean? Canon means that it is that it actually happened in the world. Not canon means that it didn't happen. It's like a, you know, it's not part of the story. So like a not canon ending would be an ending that didn't happen. The canon ending is the true ending. Does anybody need help with a heist? I wanted to help somebody with a heist. What was the bad ending in Cold War? Where you helped Perseus. You helped Perseus, and then Perseus launched the nukes at the end. It was actually better. Have I heard about the Japanese World War II lunge mine? Yes, that lunge mine is also in Battlefield 5. But the thing about the lunge mine is the lunge mine would also kill the person who used the mine. But in Battlefield 5, it doesn't kill the person who used the mine. But the lunge mine, that... I actually... The only thing I know about the lunge mine is I know that it's a shaped charge. And basically it was on a stick. And the Japanese would just run towards an American, you know, Sherman tank. And basically they would, you know... They would basically stick it right onto the tank, and it would just blow the charge would blow up, and it would blow the person up who deployed it. So it was a suicide weapon. I don't know how effective that was. So if anybody in the comments knows, like, could that Japanese lunge mine actually destroy a Sherman? That I don't know. I don't know how strong the bomb was. I just know it was a suicide weapon that the Japanese used, but I don't know how effective it actually was. Didn't population of the Congo drop under Leopold? Yes, a few million. And that's the thing is, you know, I always if hell exists, that's exactly where Leopold is right now. He's one of the most evil, you know, vile, disgusting men in history. Oh, hey Mark, how are you, dude? My biggest video game hot takes is that evil endings are better than good endings because how dark and serious it is. Maybe. You know, when I have evil endings in games, the evil endings that I like the most is I like the evil endings where you're the bad guy, and you do something evil at the end. I don't typically like the endings where, you know, your main enemy wins and you lose. It's more, I like the evil endings where you're the bad guy and you do something, you know, at the end of the game. I think the best game to play as a bad guy, the best game is the Fallout games. The Fallout games are the best game to play as a bad guy. I think most people would agree with me on that. Yeah, I can do a heist. Does anybody need help with Anyone need help with a heist? Invite me. I can't sell my asset because of Headhunter. Well, it's gonna end in 15 seconds. I don't know yet, Omar. I'll do it, I'll play the Darkness one day, but... No, I've never heard about that, KG. Why do people think of Genghis Khan as a great general? Well, Genghis Khan was a, you know, a smart general. You know, I'm not saying he was a good man, but when it came to tactics, he was definitely intelligent, he was definitely smart. Genghis Khan used horse archers a lot, cavalry. He was very famous for his cavalry, detachments. Which mission, Hustler? Does anyone need help with heist? No one needs help with heist today? Usually a lot of people are inviting me to heists. Have I played BioShock? Yes, I've played all the BioShock games. And I've played, the Metro games. I played Metro 2033, and Last Life I didn't play Exodus. Exodus I didn't play. I love your videos. Did I do a Black Ops video today? No, yesterday. I'll probably do another one tomorrow. The thing about Genghis Khan is do you know what the smartest thing Genghis Khan did, Mark, when it came to the military? The smartest thing Genghis Khan did in the Mongolian military, it wasn't actually a military strategy. It was more about formations, about how he formed the Mongolian army, was his greatest accomplishment. Because Genghis Khan was completely against aristocracy. Like, Genghis Khan despised aristocracy. Like, he despised aristocrats. He hated, like, lords. He hated, privilege. Genghis Khan grew up as, like, a poor, boy, like, hunting, like, with his bow and arrow on, like, the plain steppes in Mongolia. Riding on horses. He didn't have, like, all the privileges that, like, a lot of these, aristocrats, did growing up in their manors, their farms, and so Genghis Khan never hated these aristocrats, because back then, in medieval times, pretty much everywhere in the world, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, everywhere in the world, the aristocrats were the ones who were always the commanders, always the generals, everywhere. The samurai were the aristocrats in Japan. They were, the lords. The aristocrats were in Europe. They were generals, commanders. The same thing in the Middle East. In the Middle East, they had aristocrats, but they had a different title. I don't know what they were called in the Middle East, but they did have aristocrats. But I know it was a different name that they had. But basically is that pretty much every single part of the world back then, it was like these elites, these people who come from these specific, like, bloodlines, these specific families that had, been the commanders. Genghis Khan believed in a meritocracy. He believed that if you want to be a commander, you have to, get to the top. You have to show that you know what you're doing. It's not going to be based on your, upbringing. It's not going to be based on if you come from a specific bloodline. It's based on what you can accomplish. So the Mongolian Empire was a meritocracy. It was not an empire based on privilege. It was an empire based on what you can accomplish is how far you will get in the empire. That was basically it. It was skill. I'm not defending the Mongolians. I'm not saying that the Genghis Khan was a good man. The only thing I'm saying is that their idea of meritocracy was better than everywhere else in the world. So a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that Mongolia was a meritocracy. Do I watch UFC? Not really, no. I don't like UFC. And the reason I don't like UFC is, like, they're rolling around, like, hitting each other on the floor. I don't typically like that. I like boxing because it's just everybody has their tastes. I like it more when they're both standing up. They're trying to knock each other out. That's more what I like. Yeah, I don't think we have any heists today, Brandon. What is a meritocracy? It's a system based on skill and talent. America is supposed to be a meritocracy. It kind of is. But it's basically, a meritocracy is a system where you get to the position where you are because through hard work and you rise to the top. Not because you're, not because you come from a specific, like, rich family or, like, a specific bloodline. I would say monarchy is pretty much the opposite of a meritocracy. Because monarchy is, a system where, you have a powerful family that is, that they believe is destined to rule. It's their bloodline, and they believe that, anybody that monarchy appoints, that there's going to be a bunch of elites from another bloodline, and they're all going to form one government. So, that's what I would say. Meritocracy is basically a system based on skill and hard work. not a system on privilege. I'll see you, Christine. Take care. And happy early birthday. It is going to be Christine's birthday in 1 day, guys. So wish Christine a happy early birthday. I don't know. That's a good question, Gazala. I guess he probably knew that that CJ was coming, and he just arrested him. What's wrong, Black Sun? What's wrong, dude? I think the greatest Bethesda game of all time is it's probably a game that a lot of people haven't don't think so. You know what I think? You know what I think is the best Bethesda game ever? The best one? Oblivion. And even though Skyrim has more things to do than Oblivion, I think Oblivion is Bethesda's best game ever because Oblivion was so revolutionary. Like, it was so revolutionary for the time. It was just the world itself, the quests, the dialogue. It was such a revolutionary game. So I would say, I mean, would you guys agree with me on that? That Oblivion is probably Bethesda's best game? I think so. I mean, some people probably say it's Fallout 3, but I think it's or Skyrim, but I think it's probably no, New Vegas is not a Bethesda game. That's Obsidian. I think it's probably Oblivion. I would say. Cyrodiil is the best map in Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I would agree with you. I loved Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil was a great map. Yeah. Hey Patrick, what is your opinion of Black Ops 2 Evil ending, where you make all the bad choices, which leads to Raul Menendez have won? You know, you mean the ending where he kills Woods and his hackers take over the world? I don't remember too much about it. I just remember he primarily kills Woods and such. But the thing about Menendez is Menendez is a more complicated villain, I would say, because while Menendez is Menendez evil? Yeah, I would say he is evil, but he's not Makarov evil, if you know what I mean by that. Like, Makarov is just pure evil. Like, there's no good whatsoever in Makarov. Menendez seems like he cares about his supporters. He cares about his people, his group. Where Makarov just basically uses everyone as a pawn. He doesn't care about anybody. So, and there was that guy, I forget the British guy. He was Menendez's second in command. I forget the guy's name. Who was the guy, the British guy that was Menendez's friend? Because Menendez actually did, the way Menendez interacted with him, he did seem like he did consider him a friend. So, like, that's what I would say about Menendez, is that he, had more humanity to him than, like, Makarov, where, like, Makarov was just, absolute pure evil, and there was, like, no good whatsoever in Makarov. Nothing. Falco, yeah, it's Falco, that was the guy. No, Daniel, I didn't do anything. I was just in the car when, you know, he ran you over earlier. I didn't do anything. But, what was it? Yeah, but didn't Bethesda, not Bethesda, didn't, didn't Treyarch say, that, that the ending where, Daniel Mason kills, Menendez is the canon one? Isn't that the canon? Didn't they say did Treyarch ever confirm which is the canon ending in Black Ops 2? Did they say which was the canon one? Because I know that Mason is dead, so like Mason died, but did they actually say which one is the real one, like the real Black Ops 2 ending? Oh, Black Sun, don't talk like that, dude. I mean, you got friends and family that care about you, and life is worth living. If you ever want to talk, you can talk to me, dude. Well, Daniel, I'm sorry he did that. The one where they're in a band. Oh man. Makarov was a psychopath. Yeah, I would agree with you. Makarov was evil. Chaz, if you go back, there's actually a ramp you can jump off the highway on. I guess let's go this way because you're already going this way. Yeah, we can, Mark. Che Guevara was a scumbag. A lot of people act like he was a freedom fighter. He imprisoned so many people when he came to power. No, it's okay, Chaz. I guess I will, my fault. I didn't think much of it. Sorry, Daniel. Oh, okay, Own Titan. Thank you for the super chat. And I'll see you, Daniel. Okay, and I think I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream here, guys. I'm a little tired. I'll still answer a few questions before I go if anybody wants to ask me anything. And another thing is, guys, I promise I'll have the next part of Yakuza tomorrow. So, or today technically, because it's already past midnight. But I will have the next part of Yakuza. I'm sorry it's been delayed by like a week. I was fighting Kiryu's final boss, Joe, when you get, when you complete all the sub stories, and he's really annoying. Like the Kiryu's final boss in Yakuza 0 is really annoying. He's worse than Majima's final boss. Pro, did you know that in the Battle of Berlin there was one Polish army and two Polish army fighting alongside Soviet soldiers? When Poles went to put the Polish flag on the Reichstag, they were shot by Soviet photographers. Yes, I knew that. That's Black Ops video later today. One will be up today. But yeah, the Polish army did fight in the Battle of Berlin. I wish we would have seen them in World at War. But yes, they were there in the Battle of Berlin as well. And that is true that there was a Polish soldier that was murdered by a Soviet soldier who tried to put the flag on the Reichstag. Am I a night owl naturally? Usually, most of the time, I stay up pretty late. Sometimes, once in a while, I'll fix my schedule where I start going to sleep early. But then after like a month or two, I go back to being a night owl. Oh, there is Zach. Okay, hit. I'll add you here. Okay. Okay, guys, so, I guess I'll be going here, one bad thing in Saints Row 2, um, I don't think there was really anything bad in Saints Row 2. Maybe the only thing maybe I didn't like in Saints Row 2 is that the boss never got to interact with Troy. Maybe that's the one thing I didn't like in Saints Row 2. But other than that, Saints Row 2 was a great game. Uh, but I guess I will be going here, guys. Will you grow your hair long? No. I like long hair on characters in video games, but I hate long hair in real life, personally. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream today. If you did, do drop a like. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.